When God gives you a dream, your job is to simply hold the vision. Now, I know we all heard that saying, faith without works is dead. And though that is true, this is where a lot of us get messed up and possibly lose faith in God if we're not careful. Because God will show us the end result. He'll tell us exactly where it is that He wants us to go, but He doesn't tell us how to get there. And that's what we want. We want those details. But just because He didn't tell us exactly how to get there doesn't mean that He's leaving it for us to figure out on our own. That does not mean that. God has a plan. We just might not like the plan. But because we want to be in control, we try to create those details. We start to center all our goals around where it is that He wants us to go in hopes that these things will come to fruition as soon as possible. Because the moment He shows us something, it's like, I got the green light. So this should be the path of least resistance. I shouldn't have to deal with anything because you promised this to me. So I shouldn't have any problems. But then when we start to put that plan into action and things aren't coming to fruition, we get upset. Because God, where them promises at? Why you ain't showing up? Now I'm doubting you. Did you show me what you need to show me? Did I make that stuff up in my mind? Are you real? Is this real? Like, do you have my back, or did something change down the line that I'm not seeing? Did I make a mistake? We have all these doubts, but God's plan never changed. That vision is still there. You just stop holding on to it because things aren't coming together the way that you want them to. But God has a history of doing this, and this is why you got to get into your word so you really understand how God works and how He uses the enemy's tactics and plans, and He turns it around for good. Because God gave dreams in the Bible. He gave Joseph a dream, and his dream was that his family and people around him would be bowing down to him in some type of way. It wasn't in an arrogant sense, but this is just what God showed him. So he was just sharing this, like, this is what I saw in my dream. And guess what happened? They didn't like that. They plotted on killing their own brother, but instead of killing him, they sold him into slavery. How you have a dream that people was bowing down to you and then you end up in slavery? But it didn't end there. People still didn't necessarily treat him well all the time, and he ended up being thrown in prison. And he was in prison for a good while. But mind you, God still had this vision for him. God still showed him something, and that still ended up coming true. But he could have given up just by being in prison, having to deal with all the crap that he went through. There's no way that you intended for these great things to happen to me, and I'm in prison. But guess what? That stuff still came to fruition. And again, it wasn't in a way where they was bowing down to him like king of king and this, and that. He just was the top man in charge during a huge famine that people had to go through him to make sure they could be taken care of. And his family, who wanted to sell him into slavery because they were jealous, they had to follow suit. They had to come to him, and he actually was paving a better way for them to have a better life. So everything that God promised him came to fruition, but he had to go through some pain. He had to go through some struggles, but this struggle made him strong. It made him who he was that day, like to be able to lead people, to guide people, to make decisions. He had to go through some stuff. That's why when God gave you a dream or you have this wonderful idea and you look around you and you're not who you need to be yet, you know good and well you couldn't just make that a reality for yourself tomorrow. And even though God is all powerful, God is almighty, He wants to make sure that you are who you need to become to handle what it is that He's going to put upon you. Like, He is going to do some character building in a way that you don't expect, but it's going to be okay. When has it not been okay? God has always taken care of you. If you still alive and you still breathing and you done made it through some of the toughest things in your life, the toughest details, then when has it not been okay? God made you stronger to prepare you for what it is that He has for you. So if it's not coming to fruition, do not get so disappointed that you feel like, you know what, I'm just going to give up. This is all part of God's plan. The enemy is going to throw certain things your way, but God is going to use that as a tool to make you stronger, to give you the lessons that you need to really cultivate the environment that He's trying to build for you and for your family and for your future. It is all part of God's plan, so you could relax and knowing that you don't have to iron out all those details. You don't have to figure it out tomorrow. You don't have to be a guru. God is your guru. God is your advocate. God is going to open doors that you did not expect. He is going to iron out details in a way that you couldn't have dreamed of. Okay? So it's going to be good. It's going to come to fruition. You just got to hang tight and hold firm to the vision.